Welcome to Project HQ, where your success in project management begins. Are you ready to master project management? Our professional Scrum Master training equips you with agile expertise and hands-on Jira skills. Dive into real-world scenarios with us and step into the industry with confidence. Meet Toyin Papula, our expert Agile coach and PMP Pro. Experience hands-on training with essential tools and best practices. Now hear what our students have to say about their journey at Project HQ.
He always uses day-to-day activities and things that we do on a day-to-day basis to incorporate that into Prince 2.
He's got in-depth knowledge of project management methodologies and Scrum, and he's got excellent communication, presentation skills. The classes are very engaging and interactive.
Let's take a listen to our podcast, breaking down the key takeaways from a Scrum class.
Okay, so today we're taking a deep dive into something pretty fundamental in the Agile world. User stories.
Yes.
And we've got a great jumping off point for this deep dive.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at some of the ideas from Toyin Papula's session.
Yeah, her session was fantastic. Really insightful.
Yeah, especially if you're new to Agile development or just want to brush up on the whole user story thing. Stick with us because we're going to break it all down.
Absolutely. We'll unpack everything in a way that even if you're completely new to this, you'll be able to follow along.
Yeah, and the goal is to really help everyone understand how to use these user stories effectively.
You know, it's all about building those killer products, right?
Right, exactly.
But to do that, we got to get the foundation right, and user stories are a key part of that.
So let's start with the basics then.
Sure.
What exactly is a user story?
Well, you can think of it as like the tiniest little piece of work in your entire project.
Okay.
But here's the thing. It's not some technical document full of jargon. It's actually a really simple and informal description of what someone who's using your product, the user, wants to be able to do.
So it's from their perspective, not the developers.
Exactly. Like imagine you're building an app for ordering pizza.
Okay, I'm hungry already.
The user story wouldn't be implement API call to retrieve pizza toppings.
Yeah, no, that's way too technical.
Right. It would be something more like, as a hungry customer, I want to be able to see all the available toppings so I can create my perfect pizza.
So it's about understanding what the user is trying to achieve with the product.
Precisely. And why that matters so much is because it keeps everyone laser focused on delivering actual value to the user.
It's about building the right things for the right reasons, right?
100%. You wouldn't start building a house without knowing how many rooms people need or what kind of layout they prefer.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty useless house if you just started throwing bricks around without a plan.
Exactly. User stories are like those blueprints, but for software.
Okay, I'm loving these analogies. So we know what user stories are, why they're important. But how do we actually write these things? Is there a magic formula?
There is, and it's a really simple one. Toyin Papula actually shared this in her session. As a user role, I want to perform an action so that achieve a goal.
Okay, so that's pretty straightforward.
It is, and it ensures that every user story clearly defines who the user is, what they want to do, and why they want to do it.
And that part is crucial, right?
Totally. It brings us back to the purpose behind the action, the value the user is hoping to gain.
Do you have a good example of a user story that really brings this formula to life?
Oh, absolutely. Toyin used a great one. As a customer, I want to be able to search for products by keyword so that I can quickly find the items I need.
I see. Yeah, so that's nice and specific.
Exactly. And notice how easy it is to understand even if you have no technical background.
Yeah, it's totally jargon-free.
Right. It's all about plain language that everyone can grasp.
Okay, that makes sense. But we're only talking about a single sentence here, right? That can't possibly cover everything needed to actually develop a feature.
You're absolutely right, and that's where acceptance criteria come in.
Acceptance criteria.
Yeah, think of them like a checklist, very specific conditions that must be met for the user story to be considered done.
Oh, I see. So it takes that initial idea and makes it much more concrete and actionable.
Precisely. It could be things like the search results should be displayed within 2 seconds, or the search function should be case insensitive.
Got it. So it removes any ambiguity and makes sure everyone's on the same page about what done actually looks like.
Exactly. No more guesswork or misinterpretations.
Now, here's something that really clicked for me in Toyin's session.
Yeah.
These user stories, they're not meant to be like set-in-stone documents, right?
Oh, absolutely not. They're more like conversation starters.
Right. It's all about collaboration.
Exactly. User stories are meant to encourage dialogue between everyone involved, the product owner, the development team, stakeholders, everyone.
It's about getting everyone on the same page and building the right thing in the right way, right?
You got it. And this is actually where the real magic happens, in those discussions and that back and forth.
So it's not write it and forget it. It's write it and talk about it.
I like that. Write it and talk about it. That's a perfect way to put it.
So for our listeners who are thinking, okay, this all sounds good, but what's in it for me?
Right. The so what?
Yeah. What are the real benefits of using user stories?
Well, there are tons, but I think for someone who's really focused on learning and efficiency, and I know that's you guys out there, the biggest ones are improved communication, increased focus on user value, and just greater flexibility and speed.
Break those down for me.
Sure. So first, with user stories, everyone involved in the project has a crystal clear understanding of what's being built and why. No more confusion or misaligned goals.
So it streamlines communication.
Exactly. Then there's the focus on user value. When you start with the user's needs and wants, you're automatically building a product that people actually want to use.
You're solving real problems for real people.
Right. And finally, user stories allow for greater flexibility and speed because they can easily adapt to changing priorities or new information.
And because you're breaking the work down into these smaller chunks, you can often lead to faster delivery times, right?
Absolutely. It's much easier to estimate and manage smaller pieces of work.
So we've got faster delivery, happy users.
Sounds like a win-win.
It does. It does. And, I'd love to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question to ponder.
Ooh, I like it. Hit me.
Think about a time when you were using an app or a website, and it was just incredibly frustrating.
Ugh, like when you have to click through 5 different menus just to do something simple.
Exactly. Or when the navigation is so confusing that you end up completely lost.
Oh, or when you're trying to complete a form and it keeps rejecting your input for no apparent reason.
Yes. All those little annoyances.
That make you want to chuck your phone across the room.
So the question is, how might a well-crafted user story have prevented that headache?
Ooh, that's a great question. It really makes you think about how these seemingly small details can make or break the entire user experience.
It all comes back to that user-centric approach, right?
Absolutely. Starting with the user in mind can prevent so many of those frustrating design flaws.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into user stories.
I think so too. We covered a lot of ground.
We did. And we'd love to hear your thoughts on that last question. How might a well-crafted user story have saved you from a frustrating app experience?
Yeah, share your experiences with us on social media using the episode hashtag.
We're always eager to hear from you guys. Until next time.
See ya.
For more information, contact us at info@projecthq.live or call +474 158 79219. Visit our website, www.projecthq.live. Join Project HQ today, and let's begin your path to project management excellence.